Hi everyone, I'm Chris Drake, Managing Partner at Drake Darcy, the UK partner firm for Horse International. Welcome to the latest episode of my Key Takeaways series. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Abida Lalani, former Director of Strategy and Transformation and Executive Board Member at Costain. Abby, great to see you again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Would you be able to tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Of course. So I've spent the last 5.5 years at Costain Group, but prior to that, I actually was in financial services, and I specialised in kind of integration, separations, and big kind of M&A deals. And my team, when I was at Costain, used to say to me, well, so then how does that translate into strategy and transformation? And I can tell you from that experience, it was like strategy and transformation on steroids. You have 3 months to do what normally a business has 3 years to do. And it was super exciting to be able to help companies like HSBC, Morgan Stanley, and Lloyd really focus on their core areas of growth and value for the future. But Costain has been an incredible journey of working with the company to really focus on its core strategy and be able to evolve and transform into a real growth engine. And it's exciting to see what comes next for the company too.
Absolutely. Sounds like a fantastic time to have been with the group and to let that change. How do you define value creation in transformation? What does it look like in practice?
It's such a big word and term. So value creation for me, and I think atypically people will immediately go to the numbers, right? It's the financials, it's the performance, it's the margin that you're going to create, it's that quality of earnings, and it absolutely is. But there's more to it for me. There's an element of how you create legacy, how you create sustaining and enduring value, and it's looking beyond the numbers. It's actually for me about really focusing in on that purpose and that strategic imperative of a company. So knowing what a company's kind of North Star is helps you to really create that value. Because I think if you're not aligned on that, then the numbers is great and growth will come, but it won't be an enduring legacy that you create if you're not sure on what that purpose and that North Star is of that company.
Fantastic. It's a really powerful way of framing value. I guess when linking value creation to integrity, I imagine that there are some really tough trade-offs. How do you navigate short-term pressures with long-term value?
Yeah, and it's always interesting when you're on the boardroom, and obviously the question is how quickly can you deliver?
Yeah.
And that is why it is important to think about the whole and the end goal. Always think about the end goal of where you want to go. And I used to always have these conversations of walking backwards. So where is it I want to go? And then walk it backwards and chunk down the plan to today. And when you do that, you can actually avoid what I call full trade-offs, right? Because that's the bit you don't want to do, and that's the bit that erodes that long-term value that I'm talking about. So of course, every board will want to ask, what are the quick wins you can do? Because it sounds like it's going to take years, Abby. Yes, but is it a no regret action? And that term is quite important because often quick wins can be then 6 months down the line, something that you're like, oh, I do regret that because it's a shortcut. A shortcut isn't going to help you to create that long-term value, but a no regret quick win, really truly understanding if it is a no regret is the important thing. So balancing kind of those long-term milestones, because true change does take time, with those no regret quick wins is for me how you really ensure that. And then those trade-offs aren't so hard to make because it is all part of that final vision and that final purpose that you're going towards.
No, fascinating. If I think about a group like Costain, and how do you balance operational excellence with human-centered leadership at the exact level?
Great question. Really knowing your people is important, right? And we talk about things like engagement surveys, and doing those anonymously is truly irreplaceable for anything, right? But being out and about with your people is also really important, because when you're implementing change, say on the operational level, whether that is some new modern methods of construction or it's a new implementation of a robotics process for a tunnel, the things that really carry those teams through is giving them space, is giving them the opportunity to be a team on the ground, is to be able to be innovative.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. And I guess in sectors like construction, engineering, change also affects supply chains, regulators, even local communities. How do you make sure transformation creates value both outward as well as upward?
especially in the construction and engineering industry, this is truly an ecosystem that has to work together. And no change works with just one company. It is very much a collaborative approach. And I think that value of collaboration is so important as you're working on change. So it's the classic of don't do it to somebody, do it with. So engage with your supply chain early, engage with your partners, understand what their journeys are, right? This is about co-creation. This is about co-designing what those outcomes could be. But I think it's also remembering the stage of maturity or the stage of advancement that your partners, your supply chain might be on, because they may be in a different space. They may not have this big corporate backing to help them. They may not have the systems and tools in place. So I do think that the corporates in the world have I guess they need to support and they need to educate their partners to bring along with them to make sure that they can deliver on, for example, a new ESG regulation that might come in place. There's different rules and elements that we need to look for, but have we helped to educate the supply chain, the partners you really want? And I find that when you do that, again, this is where innovation thrives, and where you get the most value and productivity is from your supply chain. So if you're not working with them, if you're not helping them to understand where you want to go, that value doesn't get unlocked at all. So do it with, not to, is the answer.
And at board level, how do you ensure strategic alignment?
Always come back to your purpose, right? I think it's remembering when you've got 100 things you could do, is helping align back to that purpose, that strategic vision, that goal. And I think every time we used to have kind of quarterly prioritizations, that's something that's quite important for me in every kind of program that I've ever run. Is the world changes fast, so you've got to realign every quarter, because what you may have had for the roadmap for the year, things might have changed, you know. There's a new government in place, or there's another new regulation in place. You've got to adapt fast, and that's important. So bringing it back, really knowing your kind of strategy, your goal, your purpose always, and ensuring everyone signs off on, okay, so are we aligned with, then these are the focus areas to, it is the only way around the boardroom, I find.
No, thank you. That's really, really insightful as well. I guess if transformation isn't just a project, but a mindset, it must also come down to daily habits. What practices help you and your teams, I guess, stay resilient and adaptable in constant change?
Great question. And actually, those that have joined my teams, or teams I've been in, where they're not used to being in that environment all the time, I laugh because, you know, normal roles, I think, have peaks and troughs to them. Often in that kind of change environment, you're always in the peak. And that's normal. And for those that are adrenaline junkies, perhaps like me, that's what you love and that's what you thrive on. But you do need to look after yourself. And so really knowing my team has been the thing that's got me through, for myself, but for them, I think, as well. And that means knowing what their kind of, what I call their rocks are. So people might have families, so not compromising on, perhaps it's the school drop-off or pick-up, not compromising on the school holidays might be the thing that keeps them grounded. You know, for me, the team realized that my energy levels used to dip if I was sitting in my office full back-to-back meetings. So changing the environment used to be really important to me. So they would encourage me, Abby, should we go for a walk, or should we do a walk and talk, rather than being behind the screen? Knowing what drives energy, and I call what makes those people thrive, is the key. And that might be something that's not work related, but that might be just about well-being and what gets the best out of you. And then your team, if they know that about you, can help kind of drive forward together, but reminding each other and doing those daily kind of check-ins of how are you, but how are you really, is quite important. And so remembering to work as a team, but remembering what people's core drivers are, and that they're human, again, is, I think that's really helped me and my resilience with the teams that I've worked in.
Yeah, fascinating. I couldn't agree more. Abby, thank you for sharing your insights today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Thanks everyone for listening. Thank you. Bye-bye.